Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, May 10th, 2024. I'm Giovanni Betancourt, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Markets, and this is being pre-recorded to the US Session Open. So far this morning, the S&P 500 is up right about plus 0.40%. The Nasdaq is about plus 0.44%. The three major U.S. benchmark indices ended the regular season in the green as higher than expected applications for U.S. unemployment benefits bolstered the case for rate cuts, with investors looking ahead to fresh comments from Federal Reserve officials. In yesterday's trading session, the benchmark S&P 500 rose to a one-month high, and the blue chip Dow notched a five-week high. The Labor Department's report on Thursday showed that the number of Americans filing for initial jobless claims in the past week rose plus 22,000 to an 8.5 month high of 231,000, weaker than the expectations of 212,000. Now, in the on the other side of the pond, the Euro stock 50 they ended up right about positive 0.83% this morning, buoyed by stronger than anticipated UK growth data and optimism regarding rate cuts in the region, and the US mining, utilities, and energy stocks outperformed on Friday. The Office for National Statistics reported Friday that Britain's economy experienced its most significant growth in nearly 3 years in the first quarter of 2024, marking the end of the shallow recession it entered in the second half of last year. Meanwhile, investors are anticipating the release of the minutes from the European Central Bank's April meeting later in the session. Shanghai's composite index closed just above the flat line today, lagging its regional peers as geopolitical concerns weigh on investor sentiment. The Federal Register showed on Thursday that President Joe Biden's administration added 37 Chinese entities to a trade restriction list, including some of accused of supporting the spy balloon that flew over the United States last year. As far as the Japanese goes, Japan's Nikkei 225 stock index closed higher today, tracking overnight gains on Wall Street fueled by jobs data that bolstered the case for U.S. interest rate cuts. In the energy front, following several weeks of declines, oil prices are now rising once again on a combination of geopolitical risk, rising demand, and supply concerns. Oil prices are once again climbing after several weeks of declines, falling U.S. crude inventories and robust Chinese imports have sparked some bullish sentiment in oil markets. Brent futures are set to post their first weekly gain since early April, moving closer to $85 per barrel, further boosted by the easing of the U.S. labor market, jobless claims again being the highest in 8 months, and Israel's Rafah operation. So, with that being said, let's take a look at what we can speculate, because that is our job, to be speculators, uh, to today's market fluctuation. So we are we are out above that particular range that we have been talking about so far this week. We are in a breakout, so let's be bullish and see if we can close the week with a bang. So 18,400, I am favoring longs. Uh, Shallow of the 18,080 for support. So buying the indices, here we have the S&P 500 also making higher highs. So we are making this just a bit 5285 resistance. That is going to be our target. And let's just bring our support to 5190. Buying the indices. Here's the Dow looking stronger, stronger, stronger. So 40,000. We're not going to reach 40,000, I assume, today. By hey, speculating, perhaps, maybe, who knows? But it is. Let's put it in our radar, on our horizon. So 39,322 is our support. So buying the indices. Crude oil looking to finally break out of this $80 level that has been just flirting with. So let's just raise our resistance right above that. Now, I'm not being that aggressive, uh, but obviously it could just pop. Let's just actually do it 80.78 right around here. Okay, so let's use that as our target for today. Buying crude oil, Nat Gas. Yesterday fluctuated nicely to the upside. Today it did almost reach 220. It has retreated from that, from around those levels. So let's just say that that's why we're gonna put a resistance anyhow. Bring our support right to around 206. Let's see if we're gonna continue to stay. We are in the overbought territory, so perhaps this pullback retracement will bring us somewhat into the neutral zone of the other side, but I am just looking at this and I am assuming that it's going to have to come down all the way down to our support level. So keep that in mind. Gold, make nice pop to the upside on gold. So let's see if 2390 will be met today. It has finally broken out of that range, that consolidation range, that lateral movement, that breakout, boom, to the upside. Nicely done. RSI is creeping up into being overbought, so keep that in mind. It also is the weekend. Also, silver has also made a nice move to the upside. $29 is going to be $28 was kissed. Well, actually, it didn't. I mean, $29. The 28.80 was kissed and retreated. No, from that, perhaps just profit taking. Which is, let's see if 29 bucks will be met today. That is for our resistance. I'm gonna just put 27.68 as our support. Copper, it fluctuated to the upside quickly, nicely, broke out of that also that range, that trading range, consolidation range. It it traded above last month's highs. So this is being one of those moments or scenarios where we say, okay, let's just be. It is the weekend. It's Friday. Let's just be conservative and see if the market will continue to move, make another attempt at reaching $4.71. We are in the overbought territory, however, so keep that in mind. Currencies, well, the euro is looking to stay, like I've been saying, north of that 107.02, but now it's 107.5. It has bounced off our resistance that we had. So I'm just gonna raise it to 108 and bring up my, I'm actually just gonna keep my support there and see what happens. Uh, okay, so a lot of great news from UK, so we should just bring this puppy to 126 and just leave that 124.50 as support. Uh, and let's see the dollar index. I'm gonna have to bring down this support right to 104.8, just flat at 104.8 around here, and bring down this resistance to 105.5. All right, so we see that the dollar index continues to, just to retreat. It did open with a tiny gap down. It's been closed. Let's see if it'll just find some track and continue moving higher, or will it just do a complete reversal and just continue to move lower? That will help, obviously, the currencies and the metals. That is it for me today. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.